Hello and welcome to part 26 of our OpenTTD series, and we have quite a lot to go, well, not quite a lot to go through, but we just need to finish off the electric line that we were building up to Warnpool, because that is going to be the first stage of this electric line. Now, we've created this station down here, which is Donston Oxford Road, and we've signalled this section, so from Proddingpool Falls, well, actually, let me just finish off this junction by giving a few more options for the trains to get in and out. So we'll let them cross over there, and then we'll have a few more lines which kind of let trains get to the far section over here. Yes, that will do. So yeah, from there it's done, up here it's done, then it comes to the end of Oxford Road and it just needs signalling. Like so. Here we are. In fact, we'll put another signal there as well, like a junction on entering the station. Cannot see through these rusty rails, but yes. Ah, that was there for a reason. But we do not need it, because what we'll do is have the junction after the station. And put a station in there. Here we go. Let's check. So, it's just a case of tidying up, really. There's not really much else going on. So I'm going to put just a few benches in there. Then we just need to signal up this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Yeah, it's there, isn't it? Okay. And there we go. Let's build the junction there. Should we have one after this station? What we'll do actually, we'll have one further down the line. We'll have a junction here, just to allow trains to cross over if they were kind of I was going to say rear-ending another train, but I'm not going to say that because I know the kind of comments that that's going to ensue. Let's signal this section. Oh, it's already signalled, apparently. There we go. Not quite. Well, actually, yeah, because I automatically did that and then put the station in afterwards, so that makes sense. Right, so just checking this line. Everything looks... yeah. Everything looks about done. Now, where can we have the depot for these express... well, not express ones, but for these electric trains? I think they'd have to be down here, won't they? I'm not going to make sidings for them. I know that the sidings do look pretty, but I'm going to put a set of depots there. Whoops. And just do this. Why were they? Was that not like that already? Ah well. Yeah, so we'll just do that. And we need to electrify this section of the station. That means, so let's do that as well. Right. And what I'll do is, I'll ask the question of the day for this video quite early on, which is, if you could ride in one vehicle, what would it be? Now, I know it's a very open-ended question. Let me explain. If you could take one ride in any vehicle, what would it be? So it could be a plane, it could be a train, a bus, a car, whatever. It could be a horse and cart. It could be old or young. It could be a case of you might say, right, I want to fly in Concorde, or I want to ride at a HST, or I want to go on the APT. It could be anything. What vehicle would you like to travel on? I, surprisingly, would say Concorde is a very good shout, and probably close to what I'd say. It would be a toss-up. It would be a toss-up between Concorde and the APT to me, which is probably why they both immediately sprang to mind as examples, or maybe it's just that that's all I can think of now. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what it is that you'd want to you know, take a ride in. Now, it's weird because a lot of people kind of assume that because I'm into kind of trains and everything like that in the UK, that I'm similarly into trains and things in America and other countries. And I am interested to see how they kind of, you know, come along and the news and what's happening and stuff. But the history of those things, I don't feel like I have much involvement in, because I kind of feel like the history of, you know, railways and such for me, like in the UK, it's interesting because they're things that are all around me and things I see. So just while I'm building these this local line, you know, I can walk down the road now and I can go to an abandoned train station, one that's been redeveloped, and you know, it's now a it's a cycle path is what the word I'm looking for. I can go down there now and see one, and I used to live near one. I used to live near an abandoned station, and I've done something known as urbexing, which is urban exploration, and we've done that to abandoned railway tunnel. You know, I can see these things, whereas in America I can't see the effects that the history has had. And to me, the history of these things is what's interesting. The fact that, oh look, yeah, 100 years ago this happened, and you can see the effects of that because even today it carries on. Because I think that's what everyone kind of really wants at heart. You know, you kind of go through and, on a very deep note, I think that having a legacy is what a lot of people strive for, really, because it's the only thing that will leave you, obviously, for longer than we'll actually experience life. So if you can leave a legacy in some way, that's the part of you that lives on. But Jesus, is that deep for an OpenTTD video. Yeah, that's why is this train not leaving the depot? Just want to ask about. I just want to pose the question: why did that not leave straight away? Maybe that's why. I just want to also tag onto this train just to make sure that my line is working and complete, because I may have missed something. Also, it shouldn't be auto-filling. Yes, but now it can do it on the next turn. Yeah, so it's pretty important, but yeah, so that's why I'm a fan of British history in terms of railways, because I mean, there isn't really much of a history for airplanes, well, airports, shall I say, aircraft, definitely. So obviously in the UK, when we created the jet engine, we've had Concorde and the Boac Comet, sorry. There's actually quite a lot of history for aircraft, but airports have always just gone up. There's not really been any kind of tragedy with air traffic. The only tragedy seems to be how things are run now. Obviously with trains, it's interesting how we had this great infrastructure, but it was once greater and it's kind of fallen down. That's interesting to me. Whereas obviously aircraft have kind of gradually increased, and now we're just at a stage of, well, you know, we're in this thing of, in this country where nobody wants to acknowledge that, alright, yeah, maybe we need to invest in air travel. Because people think, well, why? Why should we build a runway? Why should we build this or that? It's going to increase pollution. It's going to, you know, we don't need to travel. It's going to encourage people to take internal flights. No, it isn't. It's a case of people come to this country, you know, to spend money, be it tourism or business. People come to this country to invest themselves in what we have. And it's difficult because we're creating obstructions to that happening by saying, right, well, let's, shall we build a third runway at Heathrow or Gatwick? Shall we do this? Well, we're going to leave it until the next election. And say, no, we need it. I don't care what people say. We need a new runway. You know, you've got airports like Chicago O'Hare, which are very, very similar to Heathrow in terms of where they are in passenger numbers. O'Hare, I think, has either 6 or 8 runways. I used to be into aviation quite heavily, and now I'm not for quite a few years, so my facts probably aren't up to date. But it has either 6 or 8 runways. It has a ridiculous amount. That's what I'm trying to say. 1 second. I'm just going to group this train. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this the electric corridor as a group, and then we'll have elec core, which is electric corridor southern, and then we'll literally have in brackets what the from the origin station, which is Pontypool Falls, what the destination board would display on the train, which is Owanpool, and then what speed it is. That's how I'm now going to name my trains. Just so you know, just so you don't ask any questions, that's what it's going to be. And then I'm going to... Oh yeah, it's auto-filling. I'll start doing the second route while that's doing that. But yeah, you've got airports like O'Hare with 6 to 8 runways. And it's pretty meagre and menial that you've got Heathrow, which has the same passenger numbers and only has 2 runways. It did have a third one, but it was converted to a taxiway, although it was a very small runway at that. It wasn't one that could be used. Now, one second, I've just need to turn off my notifications because there is a blinding light in my eye, and that is distracting me. So, yeah, it's interesting because you've not only Heathrow, you've got Gatwick. Now, in London is a city of 9 million people. There are 6 runways between all the airports. You've got Heathrow, which is the biggest by far in terms of terminals and passenger numbers, and it has 2 runways, and they're trying to put a third in, which wouldn't even, it wouldn't scrape the surface of what it actually needs, but it's a good step forward. Then you have Gatwick in the south. Gatwick has one very large runway and a smaller runway, which is so small it's pretty much just used as a taxiway now, so it's not actually in use. It is the busiest single runway airport in the world, and there's not even a strong debate as to whether it should get a second runway. There's a lot of talk, but nothing in concrete, nothing, no kind of, let's put this down, we are putting this forward, nothing like that. It's been debated, but it's not even a priority. If this was America, there would be runways like this. This would be Gatwick. There would be runways everywhere, but no, it's just, that's fine. It's got a runway. What more do you want from us? It's like, no, you need to make it efficient. You've got Stansted, which is an airport in the northeast of London. Well, outside London, very much so, but to the northeast. Again, 1 runway. It's not as busy as Gatwick, granted, but it's pretty busy. And there's been actual plans for a second runway. It's like, hang on, Gatwick's discarded, really. And then you kind of say, well, Stansted should have a runway. It's like, no. Gatwick is so much busier than Stansted. Who is making these decisions? Who thinks that... Oh, I'm just so confused. It confuses me. And then you've got 2 shitty airports. You've got Luton, which is literally an airport built within a council estate. And you have London City, which has an extremely short runway. I'm going to presume that people watching this video do not know much about planes. I imagine that quite a few of you do, because I think a lot of people are similar to me. They kind of like transport as a whole and have an interest in one particular field out of those, but tend to keep up to date with most things. But yeah, London City has a runway which is about 3,500 foot long, which a small but usable, not bad runway is about 7,500. There are restrictions specifically for London City Airport. Like, pilots need to have a specific license to land there. Only certain aircraft are regulated to actually use the airport. The biggest one is an Airbus A318, which is a very, very small aircraft. It looks like a conventional aircraft to someone who doesn't know much about planes, but it is a small aircraft, very small. It's the only kind of conventional aircraft you'd recognise. All the other ones are very specific aircraft, like British Aerospace 146, which is a very small jet with 4 engines. In fact, can I show you some of these? Whoa. What? Okay. I was wondering why that was a bus stop, but hey ho, let's carry on. Close airport. Okay. Coverage. Sorry, I've never actually planted an airport with this mod on, and I'm just kind of coming up to it now and being like, oh hey, right. Yeah, so we've got A380s. That's pretty impressive. This plane here, this is the, well, a smaller version of this. Lol, I can't even get it out of the fucking hangar, but okay. Yeah, that is pretty similar to the biggest type of aircraft that can kind of fly to London City Airport. This entire town just got an airport just so I could show you something that you didn't really care about anywhere. Anyway, that is how flippant I am with my 55 million. I would just like to point that out. Right, let's get all this electrified anyway. Our initial reason for being here. Bye-bye airport. Let's create an island bay for this station. Get rid of those. Let's crack on here with a ramp. Well, it's stairs, not a ramp. No wheelchair users here, unfortunately. Come on. The UK is actually going through a bill at the moment where by 2020, every bit of public transport has to meet certain disability requirements. So that means a lot of trains are no longer usable, which includes some pretty old, unpopular trains, which is to the delight of quite a few commuters, myself included. Well, for now anyway. And also means that a lot of stations have to be revamped. And I'm fully supportive of what it aims to do. Which, so, yeah, basically it's saying that, yeah, well, you know, every bit of public transport should be used by everyone, and it's understandable. So if you can't get a wheelchair onto the train or the vehicle that you're using, then it doesn't meet requirements. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. I think it's pretty much simple as that, but I'd be a bit of a dick if I kind of stayed here and was like, oh, well, do you know what? No. People in wheelchairs, don't use public transport. Yeah. I can't even think of a fake reason as to why I'd think that. I'm sure someone has something. Let's remove this, move them up a little bit. That's going to be a bit of a bottleneck, but I'm sure we can manage that. And then what we'll do is, to save congestion at the other end of this line, we will convert these depots to be used by electric trains. Cancel that. Pretty much one of my only Skype contacts decides to come online at a very specific time and gives away his identity. Right, so we've got an extra 2 platforms at Sonning Hall. I do think that is going to be important because it's going to become quite congested on this line once we have a few more services running through it. In fact, I may actually remove... Well, I was going to say I may remove this platform, but it's there. I might as well... In fact, no, it's not there, because this isn't even a... Yeah, I'm going to remove that line. Let's remove this one. I know it might be a bit stupid of me, but, you know. I'm just going to add a single-sided platform there. Okay, so that's Sonning Hall Station. Because Planville's not got 5 platforms. That doesn't need 6, does it? Let's create the second line. So do you there. And you can go back into that depot, but not with loading. In fact, is this busy enough? Nope, you're not busy enough to warrant a stop. Stop there. The power station was, because I remember that. And then... Central, Teddingwell, Flintstone and Slonston. Sound like Harry Potter names to the towns in OpenTTD. Johnston Oxford Road, and then Prawning-Pool Falls. Righto. Wait for it to visit its first station. And now autofill, and you can stay there. And at just this time, our local service emerges from its cocoon, and I'm going to add tick delays on for all of its stops. 121 seems to be the maximum. pause the game for a second because I'm going to be releasing a few new trains soon, and it's at the perfect stage for it to do that because it's just at the start of its timetable. 121 for all of its stops. 121. Otherwise it'll get very late very quickly. And then for the final stop, because it's just about 10,000 ticks, about 1,000, so 10% of its entire routing time can be spent waiting and recuperating that time. And for this electric corridor, of which we can see the stops, I would say 6 trains, so we need 5 more. And I'll just set them off. It doesn't matter about the spacing because that will automatically get sorted out for me. What is important is that I don't bunch them all together into the station at the same time. It will only stand to make things worse. It would be a terrible decision. While I'm in this area, I'm going to extend this road around here actually. I'm going to make this a new bit of land for the towns to develop on. They should love me for that, but they won't. They'll complain that one bus stop hasn't had service in 2 minutes and say they don't like me anymore. So release these. I'm going to speed up time. If only it was that simple in real life. Let's get all these out. Why is that waiting for a free path forever? There. Probably because I haven't electrified that bit. That is exactly why, and it's why I don't autofill on the first route, because I always seem to miss something out. It's also why I decided to watch the first run of the electric line in the last part of the video. Come on, so you can get out the station. And finally you. Lines should become less erosive very soon, you would hope. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to be happy with this route. And then once we've got some express services going through, this looks like it's going to be a principal line for us. Obviously the local services will end here. And actually we could do the express services, couldn't we? Because they're going to go up here. Nothing actually needs to be changed apart from the upgrading to electric of these lines. I just need to make sure I definitely do everything. Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't make those local services go up here, because this is a very congested area of our network. So electrify all this. When you're electrifying, it's a good opportunity for you just to kind of browse and see what's actually happening on the network itself. I'm gonna actually remove that because it looks like it's just it looks like the lines have been pulled up. It's quite a cool effect actually. I'm enjoying that. All the way down here. And then do Drinley. Now, are we going to stop it at Drinley, or are we going to go up to Suntwood? That's a pretty important question, isn't it? Go away. 23 minutes. Just going to make a note, because I need to obviously censor my poor Skype user's name from the video. That's about 24 minutes in. Right. So these platforms are electrified. It's electrifying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's it like in Suntwood? 5,000 passengers. Where do they want to go? Via source destination. Via destination source. Okay. Pedworth Falls. Right, so they all want to go to Pedworth Falls. Why? Labora. Okay. It's the main place. And you've got Leninford, so that's Winepool. Yeah. With benefit. Prawning Pool Falls. Yeah, okay. We'll extend this up to Sontwood 2. We'll also have a less frequent local service which uses the electric lines. A very kind of sparse one. So electrify all these. Thank you to Jack Ski and Simon Kosinski. Jack Sky, sorry. I do apologise, you did tell me that it was Sky, not Ski. If it was Ski, it would be SKII and not Sky, as it is spelt. So you are correct. Yes, thank you to you too, because you have pretty much generated what is a very important line in our map. And then we'll do that. I'm going to leave that depot as diesel. And pretty much just do everything there. There we go. If we look at our company profile details, 8,000 railway, 5,000 electrified, so about 2/3 of it, about a third is electrified, which should be about right in terms of realism. That'll change though, as we build more of the electric lines, I'm sure. Ooh, excuse me for yawning. Not that I'm wanting to create boring videos or anything. Never understand why people draw that conclusion. Well, I do, but I think it's always a bit unfair, shall I say, to draw the conclusion that, oh, you're yawning, am I boring you? It's like, well, you know, I might be tired, you don't know my life. You know, I might have been up late. Well, probably have been up late. Or, you know, it's like, well, yeah, maybe you are boring me, so, you know, take the hint, don't point it out. Why do people get so discerned at people yawning? If someone yawned at me, you take it in. Has this guy had a late night? Does he look like a partier? If not, right, maybe I'm too boring. Maybe I should stop, you know, doing what I'm doing and take the hint. And also remember to put in that you need to use the passing platforms. And obviously, if someone yawns at me, it's going to be that they're bored. I mean, you know, I'd be bored if I listened to me ramble like I do on these videos. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for how I ramble at times. And then, let's see our first Pendolino emerge. Ding, 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 ding. There we go, it needed signals. Kind of ruined the suspense at the moment. But they will be a bit faster than the HSTs. Oh, that was another thing I was going to do. Because, so we've got the Falls Express, that was it. Falls Express, we're going to trim a few of the services off because we don't need as many. Oh, there's only 3 though, isn't there? I'm going to send one of them back to the depot. Because we don't, now that we have the electric service, we don't need that. They only really stand to, well actually, they don't really service anything, do they? Because they don't stop down here. So literally, there's no point of having the Falls Express. I'm going to send them all to the depot. I was thinking, oh, well, you know, maybe we should keep 2 on because, you know, these cities here. But they don't even stop in those cities. So what we'll do is, in a later part, we'll regenerate this line here. And, you know, give it the attention it needs, really. We don't need them anymore. Might as well, where possible, clear up that congestion. We don't need 2 routes doing the same thing. This is the only point of congestion on the entire line. And it's managed to find it. And pick that as the moment that the local service combines with the express service. Woo! Yawning. I think it's because I've had such a... I've been outside for most of the day in the sun and I think it's just knackered me out. Okay. So, that line is done. This is auto-filling and so is this one. To be honest, for this part, that's where I'll leave it. What I'll do is, off camera, I'm just going to finish these off because all it's doing is, it's a case of me doing is just adding buffer onto the timetables. I'm going to put maybe, yeah, about, let's have a look, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put 4 services on this line. And I am going to put 4 express services on these, so they're going to have 4 of each, just so there's no surprises. But yeah, I'm going to do that off camera, because it's, you know, there's no point me being on camera just showing you me fiddling with times, because, you know, you could get the same experience using an Excel spreadsheet, and you wouldn't have to put up with my voice. So, you know, that's always an option for you. But yeah, I do appreciate you watching nevertheless. In this part, we've accomplished the fact that we've created our electric line pretty much up to Drinley, and we've now got services running on it, which is great. And in the next part, we will look at how we can expand our network out once more. I am still very aware that we are neglecting freight, yet again, because nobody suggests freight. Well, no, some people suggest freight. I know that Salmir suggests freight quite a lot, but I feel bad. But yeah, that's all we've got for episode 26 of our series. Join me in the next one, and we'll find something else to do. Thanks for watching.